Hello all, happy in seeing you again with the topic Unit 1 Permanent Magnet Brushless DC Motor, which is a part of lecture series in Special Electrical Machines. So permanent magnet brushless DC motor, we will go in detail. So the first slide describes the difference between a brushed DC motor and a brushless DC motor. So what is the difference that you can find with this picture? See, in brushed DC motor, we have a part called brushes, and inside the brush we have a commutator. So this brush is supplied, the brush supplies, and what is the purpose of brush is to transfer the power to the commutator and makes the rotor rotate. Whereas in brushless DC motor, how this process is continued is through the electronic commutation purpose. So there will not be any brushes or commutator. Instead, we have drive circuits in order to drive the motor, which is called as electronic commutation. Whereas the commutation process which happens in brushed DC motor is called as mechanical commutation. So this is the difference about brush and brushless DC motor. So in this video, we are going to see about what is the brush and history of brushless motor and fundamentals of permanent magnets and its types. So first, what is a brush in a DC motor and who invented this brush in a DC motor? So it was invented by William Sturgeon in 1886, where brushes in an electric motor are mostly used to transfer power between the rotating armature coils and the stationary wires to the rotor, so which transfers power. It also helps to make contact with the rotating rings so that the current can be supplied to the coil. So this is the picture of brushed DC motor. Coming to brushless DC motor, it was invented by T.G. Wilson and P.H. Trickey in 1962. Since after 80 years of invention of DC motor, the brushless DC motors were invented by two legends, Wilson and Trickey. Brushless DC motors, it operates on the same principle of magnetic attraction and repulsion as brush motors, but they are constructed somewhat differently. So what is the difference between the two is, as already said, it is mechanical commutation and electronic commutation. So instead of mechanical commutator and brushes, the magnetic field of the stator is rotated by electronic commutation. So this is the main difference between the brush and brushless DC motor. Coming to the fundamentals of magnets, as we all know the types of magnets, we have three types of magnets basically: temporary, electromagnetic and permanent magnets. So here the below shows the picture about the first with the first picture shows the temporary magnet, second picture shows the electromagnet, and third picture shows the permanent magnet. So a permanent magnet is also, it can be a bar magnet, and it has fixed values. Since it will not change, it will be having a fixed values. So what is the difference between permanent magnet and electromagnet? So permanent magnet is always magnetic, and electromagnets can be turned on and off. And this permanent magnet, it retains even when it is not close to other magnets, it retains the properties since it is a fixed one. But in electromagnet, it produces electric current and magnetized core. And coming to strength, strength cannot be changed in permanent magnet, whereas in electromagnet the strength can be hundreds or thousand times larger than the permanent magnet, and it can be adjusted. Since it is a variable one, it can be adjusted, whereas in permanent magnet it cannot be adjusted. So strength cannot be changed. So this is the difference between permanent magnet and electromagnet. Coming to the difference of conventional DC motor and PMBL DC motor, mainly based on the maintenance, conventional DC motor is high compared to PMBL DC motor. And coming to commutation method, as I already discussed, in conventional method, mechanical contact between the brushes and the commutator, whereas in PMBL DC, it is with the help of power electronic devices. Either it may be transistors or metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors, or IGBTs, integrated gate transistors, or UJT or any switches which we use based on their efficiency. Coming to detecting method, it can be automatically detected by the brushes, but whereas in PMBLDC we need a separate sensor to monitor the rotor position. So that we call it as rotor position sensor, in which we have another two types called Hall sensor and optical sensors. So any of the sensors can be used in order to find the position of the rotor. And coming to controllable part, either the speed can be controlled or not. So in conventional DC motor, speed control is difficult, whereas in PMBLDC, since we have a controller, the speed can be easily controlled so that it is possible to have very high speed of operation. So we will see in the next video. Thank you.